Yo, welcome to the main podcast. Let's get right into it. Y'all know how I started off. Let's go.
You don't want zero problems, big fella.
Y'all hear that?
Zero problems, big fella.
Y'all hear
You
that?
don't want zero problems.
Do y'all hear that?
You don't want zero.
Zero fucking problems. Let's go. Be proactive. Give them some chance.
You don't want zero problems, big fella.
Yup. If one more label try to stop me, it's gonna be some dreadhead niggas in the lobby. You don't want the problem with me.
Let's go.
You don't want the problem with me. Just another day at the pick up on the mail.
Hey.
Nigga trying to ride through the street, they be like, hey.
Let's go.
You don't want the problem with me.
Yo, I had to bang it off like that. Give me a little warm up. Give me a little energy. You know what I'm saying? A little energy. Thank you, Chance. Yo, Chance the rapper in the house. Yo, shout out to Chance. Yo, I just want to get into a few things. The main topic of the day is bartenders and what they hate, love, and see, and different type of bartenders. And I always kind of wanted to do this type of podcast or a live video or whatever you want to call it, but I just want people to, on the other side to know kind of what we kind of see and what we go through. So let's get right into it. Things that we hate. Number one thing that we hate. So shout out to all the fast food workers, like anybody who has to work in the fast food industry when it comes to the lines and taking orders. I get it now, Yeah, hey guys, let's be real. Let's put some psyche on this. Everybody knows what they really want or what they crave or what they desire at the moment at whatever place they're going to, whether if it's a bar, whether if it's a food restaurant, anything like that, whether if it's an event, you know what to expect. You kind of know what's the general thing. So for fast food, you go to Taco Bell, you know you're gonna get some type of Mexican food or whatever you want to call it, but you're gonna get tacos. So don't get to the line knowing that you want tacos and get to the line and try to look at the menu to see something different. Just go with your gut feeling and and trust that. So I think that's very important. That's like the number one thing. So when you come into a bar and you have your friends with you and it's a semi-packed or somewhat packed and bartenders are losing their mind, but they're going. And then you have your group and then you finally get to the bar and you don't know what you want, is the number one thing a bartender rolls their eyes over. But it's not a problem really it's not a problem, but it's kind of like we're on a pace. It's like the NBA or the NFL. If somebody calls a timeout when there's a run going, they can't stop the offense. It's the same thing. We have to get paused on a timeout. You have to check a replay because you have to do this. This is the usual routine. So you'll walk up and then I ask, how are you doing? What can I get you? And then you turn back to your friends, and when we see the back of your head, man, that just come on, y'all, get a list going. That's the number one thing bartenders, I wouldn't say number one thing we hate when it comes to that aspect of bartending, but man, it definitely grinds your gears, as Peter Griffin would say. So that's the number one thing. Number two thing, or whatever you want to call it, I'm not really ranking these, but another thing we do not like, I would say another thing I don't like, I'm not putting every bartender, is when people are not themselves at the bar when it comes to ordering drinks. If a group of friends are getting a bunch of whiskey shots and you don't like whiskey, don't get fucking whiskey. Don't take that shot to impress your friends. Stop trying to impress people, be yourself at that time and at that moment, because you know what you want. You know that you can't drink whiskey. You know whiskey does something different to you than others. Everybody has a different reaction to a different liquor. Dang, this is amateur hour. I'm so sorry, y'all. I was going too. Now I feel professional. I got my mic on. But everybody handles liquor differently, especially in I wouldn't say just alcohol, just in different, whether if it's beer, whiskey, cordials, anything like that. Anything that gets you a buzz going, I'd say for most part, everybody reacts differently. So whiskey might have people to lean towards to drinking towards being more chill. Tequila make more people like hyper, or it might make them more chill. It doesn't. Every liquor is different. So yeah, but you know what you want. So when you get to the bar, be confident. We love confident people. As in vice versa, you would like a confident bartender, or a bartender that just knows or just makes your drink, But at least they make their drink. Make your drink with confidence. They know what they're doing. So that's the number one. That's the second thing I really don't like or hate, is when people feel the peer pressure to order something that they don't like because their friends got it. And another thing, I wouldn't say do your research, on drinking, but when bartenders hear vodka cranberry, we know one thing: this person does not go out much at all, because vodka cranberry is as generic as it gets. I sometimes surprise myself when I push the cranberry juice, and I go, dang, we still have that, because usually it's vodka, water, soda, Sprite, Coke, whiskey, Coke, stuff like that. Make a cocktail, yada yada, or just get right down to it and make shots. So, but that's the number 2 thing we hate. Number 3 thing we don't really like. Didn't really think about what I was gonna say on these, but one thing I guess I don't like is I guess I don't like when people would say, hold on, let me get my track going back on. I don't know. I'd say I'm just go right to the love part. We don't have that much time to do hate all the time. So for the one things bartenders do love is, and this goes to not just bartenders, just goes to the industry in general, 20% or more. Guys, if you come out to the bar, I would say that's the thing we probably hate. Then if you come to the bar, if you go out to an establishment, look, if you ain't got the money, we got it. Like, there's hard times, whatever, but then don't go out and then not tip. Because sometimes really that is, most of the times, the bartender, that's their money. Like, that's how they live. Whether if it's a good day or a bad day, they make money, you'll never know what that bartender is making. But just trust your gut that if that bartender at least gives you good service and makes your drinks on time and correct, then at least tip 20%. Or even when you're at a restaurant and you're with a server and she's cool or he's cool, either way, like, as long as they like give you the professional, I respect you in the manner. They don't have to go over and above, but they have to just at least give you that comfortableness to say, man, I really enjoy and I really love being at this establishment or in this environment that you have gave us. So that's when you tip. That 20% can go so far for so many people. Bartenders really out there, and servers are really out there, really working and minimizing their jobs when it comes to not being in the office 9 to 5 and stuff like that. You know, for some people, we kind of really like getting that fast, easy money. Some people like having consistent money that comes through a check or a salary or whatever they get. Either way, they're both kind of in the same bucket, but sometimes, you know, you can have really good days as bartenders, but your other salary just kind of stays the same, but there's benefits and stuff that goes into that, which trust me, it all equals out in a weird certain way. Trust me, to all those bartenders out there making really good money, you guys know. So it sucks because for some businesses, they don't really have like healthcare and all that stuff, but some do, so that's cool. But we'll get into that all later. But hate and love, please tip 20% and above. And like most of the people here in Austin or Texas or San Antonio or Dallas, definitely Dallas, Texas, definitely been coming down, has also helped out. Everybody's tipped pretty well. So I remember I seen somebody get like a $20 tip for just giving out a Red Bull can. Like, so I'm not saying there's bad tippers everywhere, but there's some bad tippers. So I'd say that's one thing we hate and love at the same time. So if you give us a great tip, man, it goes so far and beyond for the whole staff, not just that one in particular bartender. So I guess we'll do another love. I'd say I do love the confidence when you approach the bar and you know what you want and you're confident on the drink that you do want. Let's see. I do like. This is a really hard one. I wish I had some people helping me out on this one, but since this is a live and this is just the process of my live and my podcast, I'm just gonna tell it how it is. But we'll just go to the C part. So the things that I see are crazy. Things that I hear obviously are crazy. But the things that I see, in particular when it comes to women and men doing this dating scene, I love it. I don't, if it's women to women, men to men, it doesn't matter. The dating scene is so funny. So I'll just you can tell people that met on Tinder or Hinge, it's like this weird dynamic, and you have to, as a bartender, have to go up to them and figure out, you're like, are you guys dating? Are you guys brother and sister? If it's not in a I can't even say the word, interracial relationship, then you obviously maybe not all the time, there's people that get adopted, or there's half brothers, half sisters, but the dynamic of it is so funny because it's just this awkwardness. And for a bartender like me would say, I go into the situation trying to uplift the date, because sometimes the date gets generic, very cliche. They drink, they talk a little, but the talking's very, even though bartenders are doing their things, we have really good hearing because we have to hear people's orders in loud music. So our ears can hear just about anything. When you guys order, that's the thing we hate. That's another thing we hate. But it's okay because a lot of people do it and sometimes they get away with it. You never know. But we hate when we're making a drink and we're all obviously picked up a few orders making a drink and somebody says, hey, let me get a whiskey Coke and a vodka Sprite and a Miller Lite, and you're making the drink and you hear it, but you're like, motherfucker, I ain't making you this drink. I'm making this drink for somebody right now. I ain't getting, I heard you, but I ain't got time for you right now. Until we here's the thing. To all the customers out there, once we make eye contact, that's when you can really preach an order. But it has to be longer than 3 seconds or 2 seconds. Not like, hey, how are you doing? Like, hey, what's up? Nah, it has to be like, what's up? And then order. Not, hey, hold on. People are so so eager to order. It's like when people are ordering food, they're so hungry, they're just trying to get it out. They're like, let me get a cheeseburger and a chicken, or let me get a chicken sandwich, french fries. The person on the thing's like, whoa, chill out. I know you're hungry. So when you order drinks, just slow it down, calm it down, just take a deep breath and just chill. But the thing also, what I want to say is when I see is, it's when people are doing dates and I am there to just give them a little spice to it, whether if I don't or not. Maybe if I didn't do it, maybe I didn't do anything to that date. It doesn't really matter. But as a bartender, I think it's funny to see the awkward dates on dating app dates. So I think that's cool. Another thing I see, let's get this sorority frat thing out the way real quick. If you're in a sorority or fraternity, wherever you are in, let me get this in. Let me put it in a language that we can all understand. We know as bartenders, you guys have what we call it, yes, mommy and daddy's money. Yeah, we do. We have to say it in a way of like, what else are you're just going to college, If you're working, then you're working, great, good job. But for the most part, if you're young, and when I was young and I was in college, I definitely had my mom and dad still giving me money and stuff like. So yeah, so it doesn't really go to really sororities and fraternities. It could go to just really general college kids, to be honest. But in the sorority and fraternities, not all have money and all that stuff. Some people actually, there's people that come from struggling families and that are in frats or in sororities or so we can't get everybody, but there are a few. And to the few that are out there, don't be a fucking dickhead. Please don't be a dickhead. Even if you got mom and dad's money and you can swipe that card and nobody really gives a fuck because they're not checking it or nobody's checking it. Or you built up an allowance because you worked at a summer job and you saved money and stayed home and you built, like whatever it is. If you got money, like, man, let's be real. Just don't be a dickhead. Like, there's people that have money and they're not dickheads. So don't be that. Just like, just be professional about it. Just when you're at a restaurant or if you're at an event, be professional about it. Be professional about being an adult. So to the sorority and frat kids, I'm gonna be honest with you. There was a gap where we're like, hey man, we'll just, bartenders would be like, hey, frat kids, sorority kids, swipe the card, let me just take your money. And sometimes you guys don't tip. That's the biggest thing out there. You have mom and dad's money, but you don't tip. But you'll spend a lot to drink, but you don't tip on the service. And that's kind of comes with just a young mentality. Because even when I was young, I still tipped. I did still tip. It wasn't a lot, but I still tipped. And for the most generation, the tipping thing is not as bad. There's young sorority frat kids that tip just as well. So shout out to all you guys that help out the struggle. I guess if that's what it is, it's not really a struggle, but it is the service industry. So we're serving you guys so you can have a better time and ease your mind. So for the next week coming up, because most of the time y'all come out on the weekends. Sorry about that delay, but yeah, for the most part. We help you guys bartenders, service industry, whatever you want to call it. We help you guys get that ventation out. We help you vent all those feelings of your boss not giving you that raise or all that bullshit that you have to go through that week. So when you get to the weekend, we're being professional at our job for the most part. Not all bartenders, but for the most part, we're trying to make our ends meet and make our livings. So respect that when you come to our profession, because we wouldn't do that with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Even if we did have alcohol, we'd still be in there a little tipsy or whatnot, but you still be be professional. So I just want to be just clear on that with the sorority and frats. You guys are not really hated on, really. There's some of y'all that are just downright just done with the money and don't know how to tip. And there's some of y'all that actually at least tip something. So appreciate to you guys. Thumbs up on that. And yeah, so sorority and frats. Yeah, I think that covers that part. Things that I see, again, one thing I do see is when people come into the bar and they're looking around like, I've never been in this bar, never seen it, what's going on. And there's this weird, I kind of like it because I kind of like it and love it, but I kind of like it and hate it. But I like it because when people come in, they come in with a group, and that group usually tends to stay together. Unless you meet somebody from another group and, you're at the bar, you're talking, and then that, there's a lot of social people that kind of get into that. But for the most part, it's a little, weird kind of split. It's a weird split dynamic. I can't really explain it. My type of bar for me is when everybody is almost pretty much locked in arms doing swag and surf, But yeah, that's obviously a little Bourbon Street-ish, 6th Street-ish, kind of Nashville-ish, Broadway Street type of atmosphere, type of bars. And then there's the older type of bars where you hear good music, mostly like upbeat tempo hip hop, Biggie and Tupac remixes for the most part. But yeah, and then there's that, I would say 28 to, I say now it's getting young. I say younger because it's younger in a way, but I say about 28 to 45 is honestly, maybe a little older than that, is kind of the demographic of what the other side is. That's not Bourbon Street, Broadway, or 6th Street, or any of that street of was it Hollywood on the walk, the Hollywood Walk with the stars, whatever that street is. I'm not from that West Coast, but any of that, I'm just saying, is like there's a split between bar settings and how bars are. The first type of bar, what I was talking about, when you walk in, everybody's looking around and they're kind of segregated, is usually the 28 to 25 or 28 to 45 type of bar. Usually underneath that is Broadway, Bourbon Street, 6th Street, all those Broadway, Bourbon, and 6th, like those type of bars. But yeah, for the most part, that's what we love, hate, and see. That's pretty much what I want to get into. And I just want to also get into different type of bartenders. So real quick, different type of bartenders are like, there's just different ones. Like, I'm a showmanship. I like to put on a show for those people so that they can go home and say, hey, I got a little, I had a few drinks and I went to a few bars, but I do remember one bar, and I do remember that bartender, and I'm going to come back just for that person. So that's the type of bartender I am. I'm the one that I want to be in your memory box. I want to be locked into your brain, and then you go off and you tell your friends about me or the other staff that I work with. So that's the one of the type of bartenders. There's another type of bartender that just really just wants to come into work, get right down to business, doesn't really want to really talk, try to be personable. They just want to serve the drink and get right back to either cleaning the bar or putting in credit card receipts. For the most part, yeah, I think there's that type of bartender, and they're pretty straightforward. They just really in there to just be a machine, and they can serve some drinks. They can really throw out some drinks and really go. But yeah, they're not really. they're fun to work with because you know if you're going to be a showmanship and you know you're going to be personable with customers, that gives them more time to put out more drinks. So not saying the showmanship can't put out some drinks, but sometimes, you know, I know when to be a showman and sometimes I know when to just be the machine the other person is. There's also bartenders that are sassy bartenders, which I'm really not too fond of, but it is a thing. Whether if it's a guy or a chick, it's sassiness of a bartender can get you good tips. But to me, I don't think it gets you consistent tips. So if you're being mean to a certain person, you know, say a guy's being mean to a girl, but you know that's kind of the way he goes. That's the way he rolls, and she's kind of like, why is he so mean? Like, I'm just here for a drink and a good time. Or if a chick is sassy and she's you know, behind the bar and she's being like kind of mean, but you know the guy's like, you know, I'm just trying to have a good time and drink. I didn't really expect a lot of sassiness at a bar. So sometimes that can get confused because not everybody's the same. Not every customer is the same. So you can't, here's the thing, not every customer is the same. So you can't be sassy all the time. Like if my mom and dad came into the bar and you didn't know them and I saw you being sassy to them, like I'm gonna believe my mom is not going to tip your ass $1 one bit. Nor my dad, none of that. So hopefully most of those sassy people know when to not be sassy or when to be sassy. But there are sassy bartenders, and those ones, I'd say they stay around for a bit, but they also, I don't know, they stay around for a bit, but then I just don't know. They stay around for a bit. That's all I can say about sassy bartenders. Because I don't think that energy can last for so long. You know, I just don't. Another bartender is slow bartenders, which not every bartender is supposed to be fast, to be honest, really. There's bars that are actually meant for just one type of person. Make a drink slow as you can, but you know, you're doing a cocktail, you know, you're at a hotel bar or something like that, you know. Yeah, everybody's been like at a hotel bar or at a pool bar, and you know they're just out there talking, you know, making drinks. Like, they don't have to be fast, but when you are a slow bartender at a fast bar, that's where it gets weird, it gets awkward. For the faster bartenders, because we're sitting there going like, yo, pick your shit up, pick your pace up. And trust me, y'all, I've been there. I don't think I'm the fastest bartender, but I know for damn sure I ain't the slowest bartender. I know for damn sure I ain't the slowest. But even if I would say what the fastest bartender is, it doesn't really, you know, it's hard to compare that. Like, some people are just can remember 10 drinks and do all 10 drinks. And there's people that can remember 10 drinks and put out the price of those drinks and then do another set of drinks and put out the price of those drinks and then still make the drinks. Like, there's some people that can produce something. I'm not too far into that. I can when I want to. It's usually when I'm pretty pissed off. But for the most part, I'm really optimistic. I really have high energy when I bartend. But slow bartenders, if you're out there, shout out to you. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Just know what type of bar you're at. If you see look, to all the slow bartenders, if you see other bartenders picking up more people than you are, and you know they're shuffling them in and out, then you know you're a slow bartender. Like, you know, there's if you don't know you're a slow bartender, you're probably the slow bartender. Oh man, sorry, I had to laugh on that one. But yeah, there's those type of bartenders. Another type of bartender is the fast machine type of bartender, but this is one of my favorite bartenders, is the efficient bartender. I love the efficient bartender. The efficient bartender, he or she has the mental capacity to focus on their bar, their well itself, and they also have time to focus on the customers, and they have time to focus behind the bar and everything that's going around. They're really efficient, but they're not fast, but they kind of just have a rhythm, and the rhythm can't be stopped no matter if there is slow people, but people that don't know their order, that are getting their order out too slow, or if there's a person that's getting out their order too fast, or if somebody breaks a bottle, they know that bottle broke. They got somebody already handling it. They almost like have a manager type of bartending. They just know everything. They know their awareness. They're just aware of their bar and surroundings. So when it comes to those guys, they're very efficient. They you'll see them, and I'll let you guys know that you'll see them. If you see a bartender take out their mat, take all that juice or whatever you want to call it, all that alcohol, and put it in the trash can, wipe their bar, put their mat down, put some straws in their container, put some pineapple cans out, Red Bulls out, sugar-free Red Bulls out, clean their bar, make it real nice, almost very OD-ish. OD-ish. Maybe almost what's the word? What's the pronounced name? What am I looking for? I can't even think of the word or the saying. But they're very man, I really want to get the word. Hold on, let me get it out, because it's gonna haunt me. Wow, can't even believe I can't get the saying. But I'm still feeling this instrumental though. I should have just said, if you're the monk. Compulsive, what is it? Compulsive, hold on. Give me some. Yeah. How you do? Yeah, whatever the monk had is, I don't want to get too far off track, so I'm not going to get really into it. What does the monk have? OCD. God, why couldn't I think of that? Obsessive compulsive disorder. I'm so glad I got that out. Anyway, yeah, there's those type of bartenders that are efficient bartenders, and it's almost, has that OCD-ish, what you want to say, in their bartending. And they can get customers and clean their bar at the same time, and still be able to maybe put ice in their well. Like, those bartenders are the ones you want at your bar, and they don't need you to. You don't need to tell them much. You don't need to do anything to motivate them, which is the cool part about the efficient bartender. So to all the managers out there, all the owners out there, if you find an efficient bartender, you can find them out there, and when you find one, you better keep it, hold on to it. And they don't do anything dumb. Also, they just really come into work, be professional, and just, that's it. So find an efficient bartender. If anybody sees bartenders well and their space is really clean and it's really busy, that's an efficient bartender. Okay? Look, call the customers. If you see straws, the straw caddy filled up, napkins filled up, pineapple, everything looks clean, and it's super busy, and he's still, or she's still dishing out, that's an efficient bartender. I promise you that. So, yeah, that's all I got on the bartenders topic. But thank you guys for listening to me spill my, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, about bartenders. I hope some of it you kind of take in, and hopefully that when you go out to bars now, you start seeing these type of bartenders and you start seeing these things. So one thing, again, we hate. Make sure you know what you want, and trust your gut. If you don't like whiskey, don't drink whiskey. If you don't like tequila, don't drink tequila. If you don't like vodka, don't drink vodka. Like, be you. Just do you. Stop worrying about everybody else. For real, honestly. Like, you'll feel better the next day because you didn't drink some shit tequila or some shit whiskey or whatever your friend got, because that's what they like. Don't do that. Stop feeling the peer pressure. You don't need it. Another thing, also, tip really well to everybody, because when there is a pandemic or something does happen, when most of these people the service industry has to lose their jobs, we count on you guys to help us out. So when you think about helping people out during the pandemic, we were the ones that, I wouldn't say suffered the most, because we were definitely getting some of us were getting stimulus checks and unemployment checks, and some of us weren't, some of us were. But for the most part, we were getting some money. But at the same time, we were still on vacation, what you ever want to call it, because we were still getting money without really working, technically, if you're getting the unemployment checks. But for the most part, some of that just was wasn't us. We bartenders thrive on getting up sometimes and getting and putting on the show, whether you gotta put on a makeup, you gotta put on your face, you gotta get the hair cut tight, you gotta get the eyebrows looking good, the beard looking good, the teeth all white. You gotta, whatever it is, we're putting on that show, whatever service it is, whether you get a new haircut, you grow your hair out, we put on that show, we're coming out. For the most part, we actually love to enjoy to talk to people and be sociable and personable with people. Some bartenders, there's some bartenders that don't. So you know who they are, you just keep it moving, all right? But for the most part, guys, look at, be observant and start seeing some of these people. So shout out to y'all. Love you. Thank you for listening to the main podcast. Peace. Yeah.